This is Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Hey, it's Ready, Set, Bet here on a Sunday. Matt Brown, Mike Somich coming to you live. Appreciate you guys being with us for the next 3 hours. Be that on Sirius Channel 158, YouTube TV, our very own VSiN Watch app or terrestrial stations across this great country of ours. It is an interesting Sunday, an interesting week for you because, Mike, now you know where our ponies are going to be taken off from. Your handicapping process was already going, but now you've got to kick it into overdrive. Your next 7 days are going to be nothing but trying to talk to these horses, figure out who can get to them, read their souls as to who is going to run the fastest. Yes, the Kentucky Derby is just a week away.
It is just a week away. We've got post positions, very interesting draw. We're going to talk about that a little later in the show and how it's going to affect the pace setup. It was about as bad as it could get for some horses. So we'll talk through that, which horses I think you can eliminate. I've got conference calls all week lined up with the different horses, Matt.
You better.
I got some.
I need to know everything about that. I want their morning routine. I want to know what's going on, what foods they like, what foods they hate. I need to know everything about these horses over the next 7 days.
Don't worry. We've got you covered with everything. It's crazy week for me. The media requests already coming in. Going to be all over the place talking about this Kentucky Derby. Can't wait to dive into the rest of the card as well. Friday and Saturday, you've got the Oaks on Friday. Phenomenal card on Friday. Great card on Saturday. 6 graded stakes. We're going to be going long on the turf, short on the turf. Essentially a mini Breeders' Cup this weekend at Churchill Downs, which all culminates in the Kentucky Derby.
Like I said yesterday, this is one of those things where, races still going on over at Churchill Downs. It's okay. The big one's next week, but we're still betting, man. That's the thing about horse racing. We say this all the time, Mike. Like, it is worldwide. It is almost 24 hours a day if you start to bet the other tracks and everything all over the place. And so, it's a great sweat and instant gratification.
If you ever want action, horse racing is the place to be. Oh. Every 2 minutes, you've got a race going off somewhere. And so if you're over on firstbet.com with our partner over there, you get to watch the races live in the app. It's a great spot to be. And if you want the action, you always can get it from horse racing.
In about 8 minutes, we have the New York Knicks on the road at the Detroit Pistons. This is currently 2 in favor of Detroit, at least over at DraftKings. If you want the money line, plus 110 on the Knicks, 216.5 is our total. Mike, listen, this kind of goes back to my original handicap in this thing where I just thought 330 was too much on the Pistons. So I just popped a little bit into the account on the Pistons. Not that I have an incredible amount of confidence in them, but you just look, and I think the way that this series matches up, specifically with the Knicks, I didn't think 330 was necessarily the right number there on the Pistons. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm just going to ride that ticket. Do you have any thoughts here on this specific game?
Well, we saw the Knicks plus 2.5, so a little Knicks money coming in, driving the price down to plus 2 on them. I would lean toward Detroit here. I played the series differently. I saw it the same way you did, but I went with a little less aggressive approach. I took over 5.5 games, minus 125. This obviously would be a huge win for the Pistons since that cashes the over. We're guaranteed a game 6. If I was going to bet anything, it'd be the Pistons here. Look, the Knicks won game 1. We saw the Pistons adjust. They won game 2. I actually thought they outplayed the Knicks minus a 3-minute stretch there in the fourth quarter in game number 1. Game 3 was always going to be a tough one for the Pistons coming back after winning game 2. We talk about the zigzag theory in basketball. I believe that's real because of the adjustments these teams can make. And so if you have the ability to make adjustments, I do expect you're going to see those from the Pistons and not as many from the Knicks because they're coming out of a win. So I'd be interested in the Pistons minus 2 here if I didn't already have my over ticket in the series.
Over on the ice, we have, can I say your St. Louis? Can I do that?
You can.
I can?
Yeah,
okay.
You can say mine.
The Winnipeg Jets are on the road at your St. Louis Blues. If I'm going to claim the Devils, I can give you the Blues for sure. So it's your St. Louis Blues. This is currently Jets minus 135 plus 115-ish there on the Blues at home as dogs. 5.5 is our total. We know we bet the puck line every now and then here on the show. So Winnipeg Jets minus a goal and a half at plus 200.
I like the Blues today, Matt. I didn't bet them in game 1 or game. Didn't bet them in game 1 or game 2 in Winnipeg. I thought the price was right around fair. I thought the Blues played well in both of those games. They lost by 2 in the first game, lost by 1 in the second. They came home where they have been phenomenal. They've now won 13 straight games on home ice and absolutely dominated game 3. Today's going to be a tougher game for them. You got to expect Winnipeg comes out flying here in this spot to try and take the 3-1 series lead. But I don't think the Blues should be dogs on home ice. I think they should be slight favorites, maybe that minus 115-ish range. And we're getting plus 115 on them. So I've got to play on the Blues today. Trusting my boys to be able to go out there and have another solid first period, jump out early, and hopefully be able to hang on in this one. So give me the Blues here, plus 115 at home. I think the home ice makes the big difference here.
Yeah. Several baseball games going here in about a half an hour as well. Get to those here in just a second. But Mike, obviously the big news yesterday was, and fortunately for us, we were on air when Shedeur Sanders was drafted. We were able to break in and say, hey, Aaron, sorry, buddy. I know that you're taking time out of your busy schedule to come on and be a guest with us, but this just took over the sports world and we got to talk about that. And it was fun to have him on whenever that went down. But, the more we digest this, and I think that our kind of instant take and has now been backed up by a lot of people out there in the industry, which is, okay, you don't want to go in the 5th round, Shedeur Sanders, but you went to the right team. And with that, you have a very realistic chance of starting for this team. And so I did. I put in the 19-1 on him, Rookie of the Year. I put in the 100-1 on Dylan Gabriel, Rookie of the Year. I think one of those two guys is going to play a significant amount of time under center for the Browns this season. And with that, those are just numbers, as we know, Mike, for a quarterback in the NFL for Rookie of the Year. You just don't get those type of numbers. You are never going to feel better about having, should Gabriel win the job, you're never going to feel better about a bet than having 100-1 for a starting NFL quarterback in your account to win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, it's the beauty of the bet. And if you look at that quarterback room right now, we've got Kenny Pickett there at minus 110 as the favorite to take the snap in week 1. I'm not so sure Kenny Pickett that they want him starting. Yeah. We already saw this Kenny Pickett experiment in Pittsburgh. It didn't go great. You've got Shedeur. You took Gabriel with a 3rd-round pick. It's not Joe Flacco. You don't want him starting. Yeah. So to me, it's one of these two rookies that gets the first snap in week 1. If that's the case, 17 games worth of stats, man. It's easy to compile them there. We saw Bo Nix make a case last year without being phenomenal early in the season and still was able to make a run at Rookie of the Year late in the season. The prices are just too high right now on both of these rookie quarterbacks for Cleveland.
I'm with you. I don't agree with the market because what is the upside in starting Kenny Pickett? There's no upside. You drafted 2 quarterbacks to see if you might have a quarterback for the future. What is starting Kenny Pickett do for you?
Well, the only logic behind it would be, well, we think we might have a playoff team, which they might, to be fair. But if you do, yeah. I would rather be starting Shedeur or Dylan Gabriel and seeing what you can reach from your upside perspective by the end of the season, right? Because Kenny Pickett, he's not going to progress throughout the season into a better quarterback than what you're going to get week 1. Whereas Shedeur or Gabriel, they could both progress into better quarterbacks by the end of the year, giving them the opportunity to really help this Cleveland Browns team, which, by the way, they should be very good on the defensive side of the football. I like what they did from a running back perspective in the draft. I wish they didn't take 2, but at least they have a running back in the draft there. You've got some weapons on the outside. You've got a decent tight end. Like, this is not a bad team. The division, obviously very difficult, but it's not a bad football team that one of these 2 rookies could be leading.
Let's head over to Major League Baseball, in which the Blue Jays and the Yankees are going to go at it here in about 30 minutes. Mike, this is Kevin Gausman against Max Fried. Nice little pitching matchup at a minus 205 price, though, on the Yankees at home, plus 170. On the Blue Jays on the road, a flat 8 is our total. The news coming out now with the Yankees, they thought they were getting a lockdown closer. They thought they were getting one of the guys that if you got to the 9th inning, the game was over. That is not the case, and they are going to move away, at least temporarily, from Devin Williams. And, it's at least a wrinkle here for this Yankees team because we didn't like them in the preseason, Mike, mainly because of the starting pitching. The one thing you could have looked at was the fact that you had the lockdown closer, and that ends up now not being the case here for this Yankees team.
Yeah, interesting day for closers yesterday. We saw Clase pitch the 8th, as you mentioned, the 9th now in a question mark for this Yankees team. And look, Gausman and Fried have both been phenomenal so far this year. However, if you look at their expected average against, if you look at their expected ERA, both of them a run or 2 lower than what you would expect. We saw this number open at 9, get bet down pretty aggressively on the total to 8. Matt, the wind's blowing out 20 miles consistent in Yankee Stadium, up to 25 to 35 mile per hour gusts during this game. 8's too low. Eight's just too low for me for two pitchers that have been on the fortunate side of luck so far this season, and two offenses that can take the ball out of the ballpark. I'll take the over here. Blue Jays Yankees game 1 of the doubleheader.
Good time to mention that Cody Decker will be joining us next segment. We'll see what he thinks about this team overall now that, one, you don't love the starters. Now you're going in, you're moving Weaver into the closer role here for the Yankees. Is he worried at all? We'll get his opinion a little bit later on here. Let's go Mets and Nationals. Tyler McGill, Mitchell Parker. Mets minus 148 on the road, plus 124. Nats at home. 8.5 is our total. Mitchell Parker has actually been a breath of fresh air here for this Nats team.
Yeah, he's pitched phenomenally well. Sitting with a 1.39 ERA, 3-1 so far on the young season. This one's another one where I kind of looked at the over. It's another two pitchers that you'd expect are going to regress a little bit, but it hasn't quite hit him yet. Couldn't get this one in the account, but I don't hate the look to the over here.
I'll tell you, man, Mitchell Parker, it will run out at some point.
Yep.
But he's looked good. I mean, but he's looked good. This is not one of those like you watch a guy and you're going, oh, it's just a matter of time before this guy just absolutely gets lit up. He's looked good, man. I think he's got a miniature run in him. You know.
Yep. And he had mid 3 ERA last year with a just over 4 expected ERA. So it's not like the improvement here is unrealistic. I don't think he keeps the 1.39 ERA, but he's going to be better this year than he was last.
Of course, several more first pitches coming here in about a half an hour as well. We will get our thoughts on all of those games. But Cody Decker, when we come back.
Welcome back to Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Just getting started here on Ready, Set, Bet. Matt Brown, Mike Somich here on a Sunday. Thank you for spending the next few hours with us here. And I am absolutely stoked to have our next guest here joining us on the Progressive Guest Line, Cody Decker. You saw him on the Diamond. You hear him every day over on Beadle and Decker. At Decker6 over on the Twitter machine. Yes, Cody, I still call it the Twitter machine. I'm not going to ever call it X, I don't think.
Same.
Maybe in 10 years, maybe in a decade or something as it settles in. How you doing, man?
Oh, living the dream. I played 18 holes this morning, shot 86, and that was a generous 86. Tough wind out there. What can I say, man? Daddy didn't have his best stuff on him today.
Hey, listen, 86 is definitely my best stuff. That's like that's me giving it a good go, my friend.
Hey, you're making Matt jealous over there.
Yeah.
Is this a home course, or did you travel about to get this 86?
No, there's this place over here in New York City, just on the other side of the river in Jersey City. It's a 9-hole. It's an amazing 9-hole. I played it twice, basically, is what I did. So what it's got 3 3s, 3 4s, and 3 5s. It's like the best 9-hole that's ever existed.
That is amazing. Okay, man, now I'm going to have to hit that up next time I'm out there. You're on the hook for taking me out to this course next time I'm out in New York. All right, Cody, I want to just start with a general question here, and I'm sure you've been asked this a ton. I'm sure you have to talk about this all the time on your show, but hey, this is a new show, and new audience. We're going to talk about the Atlanta Braves, and are we worried at all about this Atlanta Braves team, a team that came in with a lot of high hopes? We knew they were going to get back Spencer Strider. We knew that they were going to get back Acuna at some point, and people were like, wait and see. We got a decent sample size right now, and this team is not playing very well. Are they going to eventually play well?
I mean, they have won 7 of their last 10. They are now in 3rd place in the NL East. They are now currently, and as I look, 12-14 for a team that started 0-7 and a team that didn't get Spencer Strider back at the beginning of the season or Acuna Jr. I'd say they're playing pretty damn well at the moment, to the point where would I say they're back? No, they're not back until they're at the top of this division, which, by the way, I do think this is a gettable division. I think the Mets right now are playing out of their mind because they have the best record in Major League Baseball, but I do not think the Mets are the best team in Major League Baseball, let alone the National League, let alone the National League East. I think the Braves are going to be okay, but time will tell. It is still I can't believe saying this, April 27th.
Yeah, Cody, we only have about 28 games right now as a sample size. Long way to go here in the season. And Matt always starts out with the negative. Should we hit the panic button, right? Let's talk about the positive here. Who have you been most pleasantly surprised about early on this baseball season?
Chicago Cubs, a team that I was not really expecting to come out the gate this hot. I think on paper, this was the team that was the best team in the National League Central, but they're the best team on paper in the National League Central every year. And their pitching staff leaves a lot to be desired right there, but they're pitching well at the moment. Their middle relief, not so well, but they're hitting the ball really well. And quite frankly, if they don't lock up Kyle Tucker, I have nothing to say about this Cubs organization. They think they've been a good surprise. I think they will come down to earth a little bit. I think the Reds are still a very interesting team if they can just get a little more consistent with their offense. The other team that's been a surprise, obviously, like I already mentioned, the New York Mets, a big old surprise, because another team with a pitching staff that no one really looked at, think he was going to bring much to the table. And so far, Juan Soto hasn't hit much. They haven't needed him to hit much because everybody else has been carrying the weight so much. Pete Alonso has been hitting at a ridiculous clip. And those two teams right now have been the big surprise, along with, I think they need their flowers too. The San Francisco Giants are currently in first place. No one had that on their bingo card at the beginning of the season. I was looking at this division right now as Dodgers, Padres, and then Diamondbacks as playoff teams. But the Giants are just a well-oiled machine, and I'd watch out for them because they will be active at the trade deadline too.
Talking to Cody Decker here. Find him over on Mad Dog Radio on Sirius XM. Cody, the Yankees 15-11, the Red Sox 15-14. The Blue Jays are even 500 at 13-13. The Rays at 13-14, and then the Orioles down there in 10-16 in the AL East. We know what's going on with the Yankees in the back end of their bullpen. I was worried about their starters, and starters about middle of the road if we look at xFIP so far in the small sample size, about halfway down the chart here. But now we're looking. Devin Williams, for whatever reason, can't figure it out. They're going to go to Weaver and try to figure out if he can save games for them. What do you think about the AL East just in general? And like with the Orioles sitting at the bottom here, 6 games under 500, are they a bet? Are they a team to continue to maybe pump money into because they haven't reached any sort of potential yet?
I would stay away from the Orioles because if that front office has told me anything is that they're going to remain inactive. That's something that really bothers me.
They hate signing their name on checks. That is for sure. Like they cannot do it.
Just allergic to victory and success. I don't know why this team doesn't want to be successful. I would stay away from them entirely. The Blue Jays are a team that really does interest me as the season goes forward, because I do think that's a winnable AL East. The Yankees on paper should be the best team even without a Garrett Cole, and yes, losing them hurts. Luis Hill returning that team is going to definitely help. And also they're going to get a Giancarlo Stanton back, which is not a small thing. The Red Sox, however, I honestly think to this point have kind of played under what they're capable of doing. I think that pitching staff is absolutely a devastating pitching staff. And by the way, today, Paul Goldschmidt has got incredible numbers against Kevin Gausman. So if you want to take a look at that, not to mention Aaron Judge, it's a little cheap to say that Aaron Judge has good numbers against Kevin Gausman because he's got great numbers against everybody, but I'd be looking to play something on those two today.
Yeah, wind blowing out 20 miles per hour today at Yankee Stadium as well. So great home run weather there if you're looking to back any of the Yankees. Now, in the AL Central, when Matt and I broke this division down before the season started, we talked about the Royals and the Tigers having high ceilings, but their floors were lower than the Guardians or the Twins. The Tigers have started out absolutely red hot. Skubal's been pitching okay, but it's been Jackson Jobe who's been pitching well. You've seen Casey Mize come back. Do you think this pitching staff can hold up for a full season for the Tigers to be able to take down the AL Central?
Yes, I do. And I think they could do it also because they're young. And that's not something we should sneeze at. The Tigers are a legit team. Another team, not unlike the Orioles. For the love of God, can somebody just pay anybody to go play for this team? I would really appreciate it. The team right now so far that's been the biggest disappointment in that division for me has been the Kansas City Royals. I thought this team was primed and ready to run away with this division. I thought they missed out on grabbing Santander this offseason, letting the Blue Jays get their hands on him. But I think this is another wide open division. I think it's surprising how wide open some of these divisions are. I think the AL West is another thing that is just ungodly wide open because nobody seemingly wants to be the best team of a division of entire mediocrity.
Cody, as we were heading into the season, I'm sure you were doing the same preview we were. You look at the Dodgers and you just go, I mean, okay, Dodgers. They got like 7 starters, 8 starters. They're going so deep. This lineup is ridiculous, 1 through 9. Tied right now with the Padres at 17-10 on the season. Again, small sample size type of stuff. But is this Dodgers team as good as we thought heading in the season? Is this literally one of the best teams maybe we will ever see take the field?
Yes, and I think they're playing with their food. They have a 9-man rotation. Like 5 of them are Hall of Famers. Their first 3 leadoff guy. I mean, I got into this argument with a caller like 3 weeks ago, and I thought it was very funny. They were so mad that they didn't put on Ohtani when he hit that walk-off home run to center field, to which I just giggled. I'm like, what do you mean put him on? Put him on to do what? He stole like 57 bases last year. You put him on first base, he steals second base. You're like, okay, so what? He's on second. Well, the winning run's on second. So what? At least you're not pitching to Ohtani. Yeah, but you're pitching to Mookie Betts, which is not like much better. Yeah. And he says, well, I'll put Mookie on. I was saying, so you have the winning run on second, a runner on first, and now you're pitching to Freddie Freeman. Just free RBIs all over the place. Like, there's nowhere to go. October is the Los Angeles Dodgers Invitational until proven otherwise.
The depth is unreal, right? I mean, you can have 3-4 injuries on the offense, 3-4 in the pitching staff, and you still have the best team in baseball there in Los Angeles. Now, before we let you go here, let's talk about the bottom of the league. Right now, the Rockies minus 225 to have the most losses in the league. The White Sox minus 105. This is a White Sox team only with 3 more wins than the Rockies. Who's the worst team in baseball right now?
The Colorado Pebbles are the worst team in baseball. The White Sox are supremely better than this team. The Rockies, the owner, Major League Baseball should be ashamed of themselves to allow the Rockies ownership to get away with this for as long as they have. They extended Bud Black this year. And by the way, I love Bud Black. I played for Bud Black in San Diego. I think Bud Black's a good manager, but Bud Black hasn't had a winning season since he's been the manager in Colorado. And frankly, they're the worst team in baseball now. And he got an extension this last year. And I just was pulling what little hair I had left at the time, wondering how did this happen, because this team has no interest in winning. The National League West is every amazing playoff team right now. You got the Giants in first place, you got the San Diego Padres and Dodgers, and you got the Diamondbacks who are primed to be a playoff team, and the Rockies with 4 wins. It's just one does not belong. I honestly think Wrexham could beat them right now. Can we just relegate the Rockies to something else?
He is Cody Decker. Find him over on SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio, Beadle and Decker. That is sports radio done right, guys. You want to tune in, you want to take that in at Decker6 on the Twitter machine. Cody, appreciate the time, man.
Guys, Coors Field should be an Applebee's in 6 months.
There we go. Guys, appreciate you being here with us, whether that be on iHeart, whether that be on Fire TV, Roku, Sirius Channel 158. We do appreciate it.
Welcome back to Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Ready, Set, Bet rolls on here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. About to talk some Kentucky Derby with you. You don't want to go anywhere. Break everything down top to bottom. But, Mike, we do have some other first pitches that are coming here shortly. Talked about this Orioles team that is definitely letting everybody down. They're on the road at the Tigers. That is Dean Kremer versus Tarek Skubal. So when you have an Orioles team that doesn't hit the ball going against one of the best pitchers in baseball, you get a minus 250 line in favor of the Tigers at home and a flat 7 on the total. So there is that game. If you want to get involved, I would not. Angels on the road at the Twins, Jose Soriano and Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan, a minus 180 favorite over Soriano and the Angels there, plus 150 if you want them, a flat 8. And a game that you're interested in here, the Red Sox are on the road at the Cleveland Guardians. This is minus 120. Red Sox on the road, a even money home dog in the Guardians, and a flat 8.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pitchers here. Brian Bello had his first start of the season, has a 1.80 ERA. So you look at that, you see the win, you're like, oh, he must have pitched well. No, he pitched terrible. His expected ERA in that game was over 5. He was able to get out of jams and be able to strand base runners. Logan Allen on the other side has pitched very well for this Guardians team. He's also not going to have to face Abreu in the Boston lineup today. He's sitting out. That's a big positive for Logan Allen as well. Give me the Guardians here, first 5, minus 110. I think the Guardians should be slight favorites in this spot, but I want to try to expose this pitching matchup here, which I think favors Cleveland quite a bit. So give me the Guardians first 5, minus 110. And on that Orioles-Tigers game, Matt, It's now up to 250. It opened at 210. So we've seen a lot of Tigers money come in. The total sitting at just 7 also tells you how this Tigers offense isn't hitting very much. It's a tough game to bet because you have the pitching advantage, but offensively, man, we talked about the Orioles yesterday. They're still not hitting, but the Tigers don't really hit the baseball that much either. And so it's one of those situations where it's hard to lay that big of a number with an offense you don't trust.
Absolutely. I like I said, I play the Tigers as dogs. I don't play the Tigers as favorites.
Minus 250.
And certainly not that big a favorite. It's like, I think it's a fine team to play as dogs because they do have talent in the lineup. They just don't show up every day. So, okay, I'll embrace the variance when I'm getting plus 130, plus 135 or something. I ain't laying minus 250. That is not happening with this team.
If you're betting the Tigers, you're betting when Job and Mize are on the mound right now. Because you're going to get either even money, plus money, something like that for two pitchers who have very good pitches and are talented, and you just hope that they pitch well and you get some offense.
Guys, we're going to have the Kentucky Derby betting guide coming out on Wednesday for our VSiN Pro subscribers. My man here, Mike Somich, going to be all over the network all week long talking Kentucky Derby. We got the post positions yesterday. 20 horses, as we know, are going to be going off, and we'll let Mike break down the post positions and what that means. But, Mike, there might be some people who, like we talked about, parachuting in, don't bet horses. We know you can bet a horse to win, but you can also bet a place. You can also bet to show. Now, that is first, second, and third. Probably the easiest, cleanest way for us to explain how to bet horse racing. That said, you're always betting horses to win. What is the advantage or disadvantage or anything of placing a place bet or a show bet?
Well, so place bets are first and second, show is first, second, and third, and there's less risk involved. So a lot of people will choose, especially if you don't get involved in horse racing that often, to go the less risky route. Now, because it's a pari-mutuel pool, you can't know the place or show prices, and they change depending on the number or the odds of the horses that run into the money. So if you have a winner that's 3-1, and then the second place horse is 2-1, and the third place horse is 2-1, the show price is going to be low because it's 3 of the favorites who run in. If you get long shots, that second and third position, you're going to get a higher show price. I like betting win because, first off, I can break this down ad nauseum here. You're going to have a better ROI long-term by just betting win than betting win, place, or win, place, and show. So for me, the win bet, always the route I want to take if I'm looking at just one of those 3 wagers. I also love playing exactas, which is first and second in the correct order, trifectas, first, second, and third in the correct order. And then in the Kentucky Derby, really the holy grail of horse race gambling is the superfecta, which is first, second, third, and fourth in the correct order. It's a wager that's paid out on average over $10,000 the last 10 years. It's a dollar-based minimum, so your tickets get expensive, but it's really the way to try and make the absolute most money if your opinion's correct in the Kentucky Derby.
And if you want to talk about tickets getting expensive, right, you can do what I do, which is boxing your picks. And so when we talk about boxing something, you say in the exact order for an exacta or a trifecta or a superfecta. But what we've done there is we're taking the pool of horses that you want to play and actually in any order, so long as they either podium, we're talking about the first, second, or third, or superfecta 1 through 4.
Correct. Yeah. So the easiest way to explain it, if you want to bet an exacta, 1 with 2, that's a one single bet. So if you bet it for $2, it'll cost you $2. If you bet an exacta box, 1, 2, then you have 1 with 2 and 2 with 1. So a $2 exacta box is $4 because it's 2 separate bets, 2 separate ways the horses could run in order. So if you play a superfecta and you're boxing 4 horses, that's going to cost you $24. So it gets more and more expensive the more horses that you add in. Obviously, your chances of winning are significantly higher. If you play a 4-horse superfecta box, there's 24 possible combinations. If you bet it straight, so 1 with 2 with 3 with 4, it has to finish exactly that order. That only costs you $1. So there are different ways that you can play it. For the Kentucky Derby guide, I'm going to write up about the superfecta. I'll also have an article about the pace. So we'll talk about some of the different ways you can structure tickets based on your opinion to help save you money versus just straight boxing a bet.
We did get post positions yesterday, and guys, as Mike mentioned, this is a pari-mutuel market. So these odds that we're going to talk about are, as of today, might be different an hour from now. Could be different however much money ends up rolling in. Rodriguez in the 4 position at 12-1. Luxor Cafe sitting in the 7 position at 15-1. Journalism is sitting there at 3-1. Your current favorite in the race. Burnham Square in the 9 hole there at 12-1. Then you skip down to Sandman at 17 at 6-1. Sovereignty in 18 at 5-1. And then, Mike, everybody else is 20-1 or longer. What did you learn from these post positions? And as you start to break this down, what favors any of these horses and what really works against them?
Well, one of the keys to the Kentucky Derby every year is the pace. How fast are they going to go early? Because if they go slow, it's great for the horses who are up front. If they go fast, it's great for the horses that want to come from off the pace. And Journalism sits mid-pack and then closes. Sovereignty, your second choice, is a deep closer, wants to come from off the pace. Sandman, a deep closer, wants to come from off the pace. And so immediately you go, all right, where did the speed draw? How is this going to set up the early pace of the race? And for closers, this is phenomenal because the two places that you want speed are inside and outside if you are a closer, because there is no option for those horses except to go as fast as possible early. And in a race just a month ago, we didn't think was going to have that much of pace. Now sits with the 1 horse, Citizen Bull, the 4 horse, Rodriguez, the 5 horse, American Promise, the 12 horse, East Avenue, and the 20 horse, Owen Almighty, all who want the front. That means we're going to see a very, very quick pace. It makes it near impossible for any of those 6 horses to win, in my opinion, because if you've got 6 horses who are banging heads for the lead and they go 45 seconds to the half mile, which generally you'll see is around 47 or 48 seconds, it's going to be very difficult for these horses, which have never run 1.25 miles, the Kentucky Derby distance, to be able to have the stamina to hold on late in the race. So that sets it up extremely well for horses like the 9 Burnham Square, the 8 Journalism, the 10 Grande, the 17 Sandman, the 18 Sovereignty, the 14 Tistastic. Your closers in this race really got an edge because of where this drew, and they all got premium post positions. Traditionally, posts 1 through 4 and 16 through 20 are the toughest post positions to win in the Kentucky Derby from, and all of these closers are sitting in post positions that are very good. The one exception to that would probably be the 17 Sandman, the 17 post, the only post yet to produce a Kentucky Derby winner. So all eyes will be on Sandman there, who is currently your 3rd choice. I think Sandman gets bet into your 2nd choice. So if you do want to bet Sandman to win, I think you need to bet them sooner rather than later, Matt.
Mike, we have publisher and journalism in the same race. I'm sure you noticed that we have journalism and publisher there in the same race. So there are going to be people who look at this and say, okay, not worth it to me. I don't want to bet a 3-1. I don't even want to bet a 5-1 or a 6-1. Is there any one of these horses that is with a bigger number attached to them currently? As we said, guys, these will move. These will change. If you can find a place that you get a flat number, then that would be the only way to lock this in. Is there any one of these longer shots that you at least feel maybe after post positions have come out that you're at least somewhat interested in?
3 of them for me. Grande, the 10 horse. I think at 20-1, very interesting. This horse ran 2nd in the Wood Memorial, a race that did not have any pace, and we saw Rodriguez go gate to wire and win. That was his first time facing graded stakes company, so I would expect that Grande improves, should also like the distance. The 3 horse Final Gambit at 30-1, very interesting to me as well. This horse won on the synthetic at Turfway Park last time in the Jeff Ruby Stakes. He was rolling late, and I mentioned those 1 through 4 posts not great. Well, if you're going to go right to the back, it's not really as bad as if you want to go to the front. And so I think it's less of a hindrance for Final Gambit. And then finally, Tistastic, the 14 at 20-1, who won from off the pace in the Arkansas Derby last time out. If he's able to find a similar trip, I think he has got a big shot here as well and sitting a nice number, 20-1 on the board. But for me, Grande would be the 1 horse I would bet at those odds to win the race.
Told you guys Mike is abandoning me next Saturday. He will be on here with Aaron Halterman on Saturday, 4 to 8 Eastern, talking all things Kentucky Derby. If you want to bet along with Mike, firstbet.com. That is 1stbet.com. VSiN200 is your promo code. We're going to get a $200 sign-up bonus when you go over there and use that promo code VSiN200. Again, firstbet.com, 1stbet.com.
Welcome back to Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Ready, Set, Bet here on VSiN. Matt Brown, Mike Somich coming to you on a Sunday. Thanks for being with us. I know you're running around out there in your car, running some errands. Maybe you're heading to a soccer game. It's about soccer weather, right, Mike? Is it? Yeah, there no soccer yet? No? Is that a little bit? Am I too early on that?
Nope, you're there.
Okay, we're doing soccer. Okay, so whether you're on the way to a soccer game, whatever it might be, we do appreciate you being with us here on Sirius Channel 158, YouTube TV, terrestrial stations all over the place. And Mike, we are just a week away again from the Kentucky Derby guys, Saturday, 4 to 8. Mike and Aaron Halterman will be here. Of course, we have a YouTube-only show, so go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel and make sure that you are getting notifications whenever that goes live. And the betting guide will be out on Wednesday, so you want to go in. You know, there's more to it than what I do, is all I'm saying. And I'm a simple man. I'm a simple man. I said to Mike in the break, I go, I'm pretty sure you can look at, there are 20 different names, and you're going to be able to tell me which horse is going to be in my Superfecta box. And he goes, Flying Mohawk. And I'm like, you're damn right. Yes.
Yep.
Flying Mohawk. Exactly. Is going to be in there.
You're nothing if not consistent, Matt.
I have taken also a piece here because we do have, you pointed me to Caesars that has fixed odds out right now. I also have a piece at 50 to 1 there.
There you go.
On Flying Mohawk. So 50 to 1. Hope he runs fast. Hope he is not slow.
Will you come to the Sunday show with a Mohawk if Flying Mohawk wins?
Yeah. You know,
shave it down the middle.
Well, I mean, for as much of a Mohawk as I can kind of get. I mean, look, I'm already kind of pointed. This is why you have the YouTube TV and or the VSiN Watch app right now, because you can see what I'm talking about. I'm kind of up as high as I can go. I mean, I can shape it more towards the middle, but yeah, I mean, I'm up there.
If Flying Mohawk wins, I will go Saturday night to get a Mohawk cut with you. If you do the same thing, we can show up with Mohawks on Sunday morning.
I like it. I mean, what are they going to do? Fire us before Sunday? I mean, maybe after the show, but I mean, they can't fire us like right before the show.
We could put the Mohawk shaving on YouTube for them. Get a little content going.
We talk about this all the time. You guys have seen me put in, horse bets here live, and when we say we're going to bet something, we're going to bet it. So I did leave the studio yesterday, Mike. I did go get a piece of Shedeur Sanders. I did go get a piece of Dylan Gabriel in the Rookie of the Year market, 100 to 1. On Dylan Gabriel, 19 to 1 on Shedeur Sanders, which is now 20 to 1 actually at FanDuel. So I got a worse number than you can get currently, but the sentiment remains the same, and it actually started to make its way around yesterday. If you were paying attention, outside of just the what are the Browns doing, taking 2 quarterbacks, and why did they wait till the 5th round, Mike? Then when people started really talking about this and what this means from the team perspective, there are a lot of guys out there. We said we're not talent evaluators, but a lot of guys are, and said he's the most talented quarterback currently sitting in that quarterback room. Deshaun Watson's hurt. Joe Flacco's 157 years old. We know Kenny Pickett's not any good, and he's better than Dylan Gabriel. So I think our logic really does play here with Shedeur Sanders and or Dylan Gabriel for Rookie of the Year, because one of those guys is very likely to start, if not day one, by whatever week, 3, something like that. I mean, they're not going to sit them for very long.
I'd be surprised if one of the two doesn't beat out Kenny Pickett for the job. Like, just to be completely transparent, it feels like either Gabriel or Sanders starts. Sanders is the more talented quarterback. He went later. We'll see if that matters when they're actually in the quarterback room there. But to me, I would be surprised if it's not Shedeur Sanders week 1 under center for the Cleveland Browns. And if that's the case, yeah, give me 20 to 1 to win Rookie of the Year on a quarterback who's got a pretty good offensive line, by the way, if they can stay healthy this year, which was a big question mark 2 years ago and something they failed at doing last year. This offensive line stays healthy. You can actually protect Shedeur. And Stefanski, one of the reasons you have Gabriel and Sanders selected by this Browns team is his offensive style. He wants quarterbacks who are accurate with the football, who can read the play and get rid of the ball. That's what Gabriel and Sanders actually do well. So to me, it's a good quarterback fit. It's just a question of who's going to be the quarterback.
Then we got playoffs going on out there. Knicks up early here on the Pistons. They outscored them 29 to 19 in the first quarter and up a bucket here in the second quarter, 33 to 21. So this is something we would have had to wait for a market for months, just a few years ago. And now instantly firing up all of these markets for exactly what's going on over in the NFL and the NFL draft. Cam Ward passing yards is up, passing TDs. You can look at Travis Hunter receiving yards. You can look up Abdul Carter sacks, Colston Loveland receiving yards. All of this stuff is available to bet on if you want to get at it. And Mike, so start with Cam Ward, number 1 overall pick. He's going to start from day 1 there for the Tennessee Titans. 3,000 plus is minus 150, 3,250. You get to even money, and obviously everything from there moving forward, you're getting some plus money. My problem only with any of this stuff, specifically with Cam Ward, is that team is hot garbage. Like, that team is absolutely stinky, nasty, gross. The Tennessee Titans probably will be back at the top of the draft again, at least very close to the top again next year. So, you know, you play 17 games. If you can play all 17 games, you have to be awful not to get close to here, but not something I'm running to bet. That's for sure.
No, me either. I do think it's interesting by looking at this market, we can project that his over-under passing yards going to be right around 3,175 for the new season, which that may be something I want to look at playing. I'm going to be much more interested when I get bet the nose on some of these numbers that we go through. I will also be interested in Cam Ward, most interceptions thrown, because I do think he gets every start if he's healthy. That offensive line is hot garbage, and he does not mind throwing interceptions. So kind of a perfect storm from an interception perspective here with Cam Ward.
Yeah, if you look, guys, last year, you're wondering about that 3,000 yard number. So we got 19 quarterbacks there last year. The cutoff was Jalen Hurts, but you remember Jalen Hurts missed 2 games as a starter. So Jalen Hurts at 15 games got to 2,903. So again, if he played 16 games, he would have gotten to the 3,000. So Mike, really kind of the cutoff for moderate production is about 15 games. Like we said, I mean, that's where Jalen Hurts was right there at the 3,000 mark if he got to 15 games. So could get there if he only plays 15 of the 17 games. But like you mentioned, I mean, I think everything that's going into all of this, we don't predict injuries, but could he miss a game because that offensive line's so bad? Could he have games in which we look up and he only threw for like 139 yards because the talent around him is so bad? I think all of those things are in play. So like I said, I'm not really hot to trot here on any props really for Ward.
If I was going to play anything here, it'd be 4,000 plus. Because look, I do think that
you're playing the peak. Like you're just playing. Yeah.
Like 4,500 seems a little crazy, right? Because then you need 15 games at 300 yards. That seems out of the realm of possibility. But this is a Titans team that's going to trail a lot. It's Cam Ward who hunts big plays and likes to throw the football downfield. I could see him having a good yardage season. I just don't think the supporting stats are going to be very good with it.
Yeah. If we look right now, I mean, this is not one of the teams that we think is going to contend. I mean, I'll speak for myself. I don't know about you. I mean, this is not a team that I'm looking. Go ahead.
You can speak for me here too.
Not a team that I think is going to contend, right? And so, like you said, we will have a team that is trailing a ton and probably gets a ton of dropbacks and whatnot. But even that, just not something I love. Is there any of these other rookie props that kind of stand out to you? Of course, we can do Travis Hunter receiving yards. We can do receiving touchdowns for Travis Hunter. We can do Colson Loveland stuff. Is any of this stuff like interesting to you?
I think the Travis Hunter over 800 receiving yards is a little interesting. You can catch that at plus 125. That means he's going to be right around 750.5, which is where we saw a lot of rookies last year for their over in receiving yards. I like him across the way as a receiver, and I like what Jacksonville said when they drafted him as well. They said, we're not going to put him on defense to start. He's going to be an offensive player going to offensive meetings and playing in the wide receiver room. We will insert him in different defensive situations as the season goes along. P.S. Don't bet the interception prop if that's the case. But that does make me more interested in the receiving side. Like, I think it's incredibly difficult to play two ways. I think if you play 2,000 snaps in the NFL, you're in trouble. Like, that's just not going to physically be able to hold up. However, if you put him just at the wide receiver position and you got Brian Thomas Jr. in the other spot, he's going to get singles. Like, he's not getting the doubles. Brian Thomas Jr. is. You got Trevor Lawrence, a decent quarterback. Like, I would take the over receiving yards at 800 or plus at plus 125. I was going to bet anything on this board.
Yeah, if he's going to primarily play on the offensive side of the ball, just to let everybody know, like, unlike the quarterback position we just talked about with the 3,000 yards, 42 different receivers got to 800 last year. And that includes Josh Downs, Khalil Shakir, Alec Pierce, Jaden Reed, Jonnu Smith at the tight end position. As much as we have hated on George Pickens and everything that went on with him, he cleared this number. T. Higgins missed 5 games. He cleared this number, so you kind of understand it's much easier to get to this threshold than the others.
Yeah, and Loveland's price is 800 plus at plus 125. I mean, give me Travis Hunter yards over Loveland yards in the rookie year. That seems crazy to me.
If you're a VSiN Pro subscriber, guys, VSiN.com/subscribe, $59 to August the 1st. But you can go in and you can see over at the NBA Challenge here, Killer Sports is putting up 38 picks, 570 NBA plays. Go in. Make sure that you are putting in the winning bets here. VSiN.com/subscribe.